Okay, thought I would do a video of this. I had an idea yesterday to make a template for a way to paint on a bullseye and crosshairs for just, general shooting practice. So what you have in front of you is a cat just about to come into the picture. Nope, I guess he's going to stay out. So, alright, so here's what we got. We started with a pizza box. That's what's on the bottom. That's what we're going to make our template out of. Utility knife, good old-fashioned ballpoint pen or pencil, your choice, whichever you prefer. Cat. Let's get the cat out of there. His name is Spats. He's a good cat. Alright, you stay out of the way though. So he's going to want to be in on this. So we'll let him. He's going to make his cute poses, which I don't think are on camera. Back to the inventory. Pizza box, ballpoint pen, utility knife, CD jewel case. You don't have to have a CD inside it. Floppy disk, if any of you remember those. The ring from a baby bottle, and a quarter. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put these all off to the side here now, and I'll get started. So we're going to start with the quarter first. What we're going to do is trace it so that we have a quarter-size circle. And you know what? I'm going to kind of do it this way. Here's our baby bottle ring size circle. Then we take the floppy disk and we roughly center it on the quarter dot. And we're not looking for perfection here because you know what? This is a template for something we're going to shoot at, and this isn't for super accuracy. This is just to give us something to work with. So stay out of the way, cat. So there's our first target, our first template. Get the cat out of the way. Now we're going to take our CD jewel case and we're going to do the same thing with this. We're going to roughly center it on the larger dot. Oops, let's try to make it fairly close. There we go. Alright, so there we go. Now what we're going to do is we're going to cut along all these lines basically until we end up with our template. So some of this I'll do off camera because of course it's easier to do when it's more accessible. And I am doing this a little quicker than I need to. Again, I'm not concerned with this thing being, let's joke and say mil-spec. There doesn't have to be a tight tolerance on how square and how round these shapes are and how even the lines are and all that. All it has to be is good enough to paint at. Good enough to paint and shoot at. Dog's in the background. She wants to play with a cat. Different one. Cats don't seem to want to play with her. Go figure. So cat's not too happy. So hopefully those cuts ended up on camera. I mean, if not, it's not a big deal. So now let's try on camera. See, I'm not looking through the viewfinder when I do this. Maybe I should learn how to do that. Okay, so there's our crosshairs. So now's about the time everybody fast forwards, right? You can pretty much figure out how to do this. I just don't want to stop to turn off the camera. And of course, for all the people out there who aren't careful when they do something like this, if you cut yourself, that's your fault. You remember that. Just like if I cut myself, it's my fault. It's not anybody else's. Can't blame anybody else. Can't blame me. Can't blame your parents because they didn't potty train you the right way. Nobody to blame but yourself. Remember that. And that's a big life lesson, so we're going to teach that here. If you get hurt doing something you choose to do, it's always your fault. Because you chose to be involved in it. And that doesn't account for other people's stupidity, of course. For instance, it's not your fault if you're riding your motorcycle and some idiot pulls out in front of you. That's not your fault. But if you're doing a wheelie on your motorcycle and you get hurt, well, you earned it. Hey, there we go. Alright. So there's our first one, and I'm going to call this our small one. So now what we end up with is, and I haven't tried this yet, we end up with, I'm going to call this the negative. We also end up with a positive. My idea is to poke a nail through the bottom of this to give you something to hold on to. Then you could set that down, hold on to it with a nail, paint around it. Let's say you had a piece of black paper, and you could paint around it with white, and you'd end up with a black bullseye and crosshairs in the middle, and then a white section around it. So again, we'll call that the positive. We'll call that the negative. And now I'm going to pause the camera because I'm going to cut out the other one off camera and show you this when it's done. Okay, here we are with both of them. So you can see the large and the small, and there we go. You can see the large and the small, and just enough difference that when you actually paint these, onto whatever target you want to paint them onto, whatever surface you decide to use, there's enough of a difference to make, one a challenge, or maybe make one a little easier, depending on the range or, eyesight, the type of sight you're using. Magnification, non-magnification, open, whatever. So it just gives you a few possibilities, and the nice thing is because they're together, where you've got one, you've got the other. Now these are actually for a friend of mine, so I did his on one piece of cardboard. Mine's on two, and so mine were the prototype, if you will, and these are the production model. How's that sound? So then what I did is I took a nail and some wood glue, and I drove it through the other side of this. So now if I want to, I can set that on whatever I'm going to use for a surface and paint around it and end up with a reverse target to that. So let me set this off to the side here, and I'll show you this stuff in practice, and we'll see how it goes. And I'll use mine for this. FBIQ target. Got a ton of these on eBay for very inexpensive. So I've got a bunch of these. What we're going to do is, and by the way, I'm going to make a face template to put on these things. But for right now, we'll do this. We're going to put my template right up here in the corner. Grab our black spray paint for now. We could use any color, of course. Voila, there she is. So we could put as many of those as we want on whatever we want to put them on, and then we have a cool target to aim at. So hope you enjoy this, and hope maybe it's something that you can use as well. I intend to use this a lot, to the point where maybe I'll even make one out of plywood, real super thin plywood, so it's easy to cut, and that'll last pretty much forever. Thanks for watching.